Right now, 46 million Americans are facing water insecurity, and the global utility conglomerates want you to believe this is simply a natural crisis. It is not. It is a highly profitable, mathematically engineered monopoly. By intentionally mismanaging aquifers and prioritizing massive industrial agriculture, they have turned the most fundamental biological necessity into an expensive, grid-dependent subscription service. When the industry does offer a localized solution, they sell you a mechanical atmospheric water generator. These are massive, loud machines that operate like giant dehumidifiers, forcing you to consume up to 1 entire kilowatt-hour of electricity just to produce a single quart of water. They are using a water crisis to force you even deeper into grid dependence, ensuring that those in the most severely affected regions remain completely locked out of the solution. What if I told you there is a passive 0-watt structural engine, approximately the size of a standard window, that can physically pull clean drinking water directly from the desert air? A protocol engineered with 0 moving parts, requiring 0 mechanical electricity, that operates flawlessly even when the ambient humidity drops to a lethal 10%. Welcome to Dr. Maya Lawson. If completely severing your reliance on municipal water pipes and the corporate power grid matters to you, hit subscribe right now. Today, we are cracking open the exact hydrogel architecture that makes pumping, piping, and purchasing water permanently obsolete. To understand the sheer magnitude of the deception surrounding global water scarcity, we must look at how human beings conquered arid environments long before the invention of the electrical grid. The multi-billion-dollar water utility industry wants you to believe that extracting hydration requires massive infrastructure, deep well drilling, or expensive commercial machinery. But harvesting the atmosphere is actually one of the oldest structural architectures in human history. In the brutal highlands of South America, the ancient Inca engineered tightly woven fabric screens to physically capture dense fog rolling in from the Pacific Ocean. Across the Atlantic, on the sun-scorched volcanic island of Lanzarote, farmers arranged precision fields of volcanic gravel to trap overnight dew, channeling the condensed water directly into the roots of their crops. These civilizations did not die of thirst because they understood how to passively manipulate the temperature differential of the sky. This 0-watt engineering is not obsolete. We are only beginning to rediscover the architecture of the sky. Today, the Darcy Hamad project in Morocco operates a massive fog harvesting network, utilizing 6,500 square feet of mesh netting to pull over 1,600 gallons of pure water every single day for 5 remote Berber villages. It operates flawlessly with absolutely 0 mechanical input and 0 electricity. But these historical protocols share one fatal constraint. They require high ambient humidity to function. When the air turns desert dry, the moisture drops and the nets stop producing. This specific geographic limitation is exactly where the modern utility conglomerates found their most profitable opportunity. Instead of perfecting the passive science, the industry introduced the mechanical atmospheric water generator, or AWG. They market these loud, heavy machines as the ultimate survival tool. But an AWG is nothing more than a giant glorified dehumidifier that artificially refrigerates air below its dew point. The mathematical data exposes the trap. These mechanical generators force you to consume between 0.5 and 1 full kilowatt-hour of electricity, just to produce a single quart of drinking water. Let that sink in. They took a freely available atmospheric resource and engineered a machine that forces you to burn massive amounts of grid power just to extract it. They are not selling you water independence. They are selling you an expensive appliance deliberately designed to ensure you remain permanently tethered to the power company. To understand exactly why a multi-billion-dollar utility grid is terrified of this 0-watt engine, you must look at the specific chemical data that was published in June of 2025. Engineers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology shattered the illusion that water extraction requires a mechanical compressor. This discovery changes everything. True water independence is no longer a dream, it's a scientific reality. Welcome to the era of 0-watt extraction. Imagine a window that doesn't just provide a view, but creates life. MIT engineers have developed a passive water harvester that functions in the world's most brutal environments. At roughly 5.5 square feet, this system operates with zero electrical input, pulling moisture from air as dry as 10% relative humidity. The secret lies in an engineered hydrogel. It's molded into a pattern of small domes resembling bubble wrap to maximize the reactive surface area. The chemical engine is lithium chloride, a salt compound with an aggressive affinity for moisture that pulls vapor even from lethal dry air. Historically, using salt to capture water made the output undrinkable as the salt migrated into the collected water. The MIT team solved this by permanently binding the salt with glycerol, physically locking the lithium chloride inside the gel matrix. This stabilization prevents migration, ensuring the water you drink is as pure as the air it came from. A breakthrough in sustainable architecture, providing a life-saving resource with nothing but the power of chemistry and the heat of the sun. The output requires no secondary mechanical filtration. It is chemically pure and instantly safe to consume. This setup operates entirely on the thermal rhythm of the planet. At night, the hydrogel actively absorbs the scarce moisture. As the morning sun hits the panel, the gel warms, contracts, and forces the trapped moisture out as vapor. The exterior glass enclosure is coated with a highly specialized radiative cooling polymer, keeping the glass significantly colder than the trapped air, forcing rapid, heavy condensation. They did not test this in a controlled laboratory. They deployed this exact setup into Death Valley, California, deliberately subjecting it to some of the lowest ambient humidity conditions on the North American continent. The protocol operated flawlessly, consistently producing up to 5.5 fluid ounces of water per day from practically dry air. The mathematical data confirms that an array of just 8 panels provides the complete daily survival hydration for an adult human being. 8 window-sized panels, 0 electricity, 0 moving parts. Infinite survival water pulled straight from the desert sky, bypassing the municipal pipe system entirely. If this 0-watt lithium architecture is mathematically superior, infinitely sustainable, and proven to keep a human being alive in Death Valley without a single watt of electricity, then why is the world running out of water? The answer lies in the exact way corporations finance, regulate, and exploit human survival. The multi-billion-dollar utility conglomerates want you to believe that the global water crisis is a natural phenomenon, a tragic and unavoidable consequence of changing weather patterns. But the mathematical data proves that this crisis is heavily engineered. Right now, more than 2 billion people lack regular access to clean, safe drinking water. The industry pretends this is only a problem in the developing world, but look at the reality in the West. Today, in the United States alone, 46 million people face direct water insecurity, while across Europe, 40% of the population is currently affected by severe water scarcity. Experts project that by the year 2030, global groundwater demand will exceed the available supply by a staggering 40%. They want you to blame yourself for taking long showers, but the true culprit is the industrial monopoly. Corporate agriculture and mass-scale livestock operations account for nearly 70% of all global freshwater withdrawals. These industrial megafarms are aggressively draining ancient rivers and subterranean aquifers, vastly faster than nature can possibly refill them. They are deliberately bankrupting the planet's water account to maximize their quarterly profits. And when the natural wells run dry, the industry steps in with their highly profitable solutions. For most of the 20th century, the dominant response to water scarcity was massive centralized infrastructure. Dams, massive reservoirs, thousands of miles of aqueducts, and deep groundwater pumping. Today, the focus has shifted to industrial desalination and complex water recycling plants. While these technologies technically work, they require enormous capital investment and fixed infrastructure, and massive continuous energy inputs to function. They lock you into a system that demands a perfectly reliable electrical grid, a grid that the industry exclusively controls. This is not a rescue operation, it is a financial trap. by destroying the free, natural aquifers and forcing populations to rely on multi-billion-dollar infrastructure. Water is transformed from a fundamental biological human right into a metered, monopolized commodity. You are forced into a system where water must be pumped, piped, or purchased. And when the municipal pipes inevitably fail or become contaminated, the corporations ensure that expensive, unsustainable bottled water becomes your only remaining option. This is exactly why the utility grid is terrified of a window-sized panel that produces water directly from desert air. A system that requires no grid power, no moving parts, and no municipal pipes completely shatters their monopoly. They cannot meter the sky. They cannot charge you a monthly subscription fee for the humidity in the atmosphere. The water scarcity you are experiencing is a business model, and the MIT hydrogel architecture makes that business model permanently obsolete. Now, I need to be completely honest with you about the immediate availability of this specific technology. Absolute transparency is the only thing that separates this channel from the utility conglomerates that are constantly selling you expensive illusions. The MIT Lithium hydrogel device is currently a proof-of-concept prototype. It is not yet commercially available to the public. I am not here to sell you corporate vaporware or promises of a distant future. But you do not have to wait for academic commercialization to bypass the municipal water monopoly. If you need an immediate functional protocol for rural or off-grid survival, passive fog collection systems remain your most reliable and devastatingly simple alternative, provided you live in a compatible climate. Here is the exact blueprint to build your own 0-watt atmospheric harvester. You construct a rigid structural frame measuring exactly 3 by 3 feet. Across this frame, you tightly stretch a high-density, food-grade mesh netting. You position this architecture perpendicular to the prevailing winds. As the dense air moves through the structure, the mesh physically intercepts microscopic water droplets, allowing them to coalesce, gain mass, and gravity drain into a collection trough at the base. The performance data for this localized setup is undeniable. A single 3 by 3 foot panel will automatically collect between 0.75 and 2.5 gallons of water every single day, depending on your local atmospheric conditions. The entire material cost for this DIY installation is under $100 per panel. It requires absolutely zero power, possesses zero moving parts, and demands zero mechanical maintenance beyond an occasional wipe down of the mesh surface. You can scale this architecture infinitely. 4 panels can supply the complete daily hydration needs of an entire family, without spinning a single mechanical compressor or paying a single cent to a municipal utility grid. The infrastructure corporations have engineered a world where water is a metered, heavily taxed commodity, but they have not yet figured out how to patent the fog. The multi-billion-dollar water utility industry was not built to grant you independence. They built an empire by convincing you that human survival requires a monthly subscription. Convinced that human survival requires a monthly subscription to their municipal pipes, massive dams, and powered grids. They built it through their municipal pipes, massive dams, and powered grids. But there is another way. You can extract the most fundamental biological necessity directly from the sky. No pipes required. If this video changed the way you look at the atmosphere around you, hit subscribe to Dr. Maya Lawson and share this video right now. Every single share puts a crack in the wall of their engineered monopoly and preserves the knowledge they deliberately tried to erase. The next vault opens soon. What you're about to see will permanently sever your reliance on the modern appliance industry. Welcome to the world of off-grid survival. We are going to look at the Zeerpot, a forgotten protocol that refrigerates food in the blistering heat without a single watt of electricity. This technology dates back thousands of years, yet it remains one of the most effective ways to stay cool when the grid goes down. It works through the power of evaporative cooling. As water evaporates from wet sand, it pulls thermal energy away from the inner chamber. All you need are 2 unglazed clay pots of different sizes, some clean sand, and a source of water. It's that simple. Place the small pot inside the large one, fill the gap with sand, and keep that sand constantly moist. The physics does the rest. In dry, arid climates, the internal temperature can drop significantly, keeping your perishables fresh for days or even weeks. From leafy greens to root vegetables, this ancient pot-in-pot refrigerator is a game changer for sustainable living. Understanding these basic principles allows you to reclaim your independence and thrive in any environment. The Zierpot, ancient wisdom for a modern world. Start building your independence today.